Have you ever watched an adult film and wondered, how is that even possible? It's a question that naturally comes to mind. On screen, performers maintain what seems like an endless sexual performance, with erections that never falter, take after take, scene after scene. Bright studio lights illuminate their every move, while a team of directors, camera operators, sound technicians, and assistants works tirelessly to capture every angle. Yet for most men, this kind of consistency seems biologically impossible. Stress, performance pressure, and even the awareness of being observed are often enough to extinguish arousal before it even begins. For performers, the situation is no different. However, they operate within a carefully controlled system designed to create the appearance of flawless endurance. What appears to be raw stamina is in reality a combination of physiological knowledge, medical support, and cinematic technique, all carefully orchestrated to deliver a polished performance. It is not superhuman willpower that allows these actors to succeed. It is the precise manipulation of the human body and environment. Erection begins in the brain. A sexual thought, visual stimulus, or tactile sensation triggers a signal down the spinal cord to the penis, releasing a chemical called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes the smooth muscles in the two sponge-like chambers of the penis, known as the corpora cavernosa. When these muscles relax, arteries dilate, allowing a surge of blood to fill the chambers. As they expand, the veins that normally drain blood are compressed, trapping it inside and producing a firm, rigid erection. The process depends entirely on relaxation. Stress, anxiety, or pressure interferes with the body's ability to achieve and maintain arousal. The sympathetic nervous system, also known as the fight-or-flight response, diverts blood away from non-essential functions, including sexual performance, toward major muscle groups to prepare for perceived threats. Adrenaline triggers contraction in the penile smooth muscles, stopping blood flow and collapsing erections. Adult film sets are inherently stressful. Directors give instructions, cameras move constantly, lighting is adjusted, and every passing minute has financial implications. In such environments, the body's natural survival mechanisms often conflict with the mind's desire to perform. Even with experience, performers must contend with a physiological environment that actively resists the very arousal they are trying to maintain. Cinematic technique plays a significant role in sustaining the illusion of stamina. Scenes that appear continuous are often filmed over many hours, broken into dozens of short takes. Each take focuses on specific angles or moments, with breaks in between to reset lighting, reposition cameras, and allow performers to recover. Editors then stitch these short bursts together into a seamless sequence, masking pauses, resets, or lapses in performance. The final product is a polished highlight reel, appearing as continuous, uninterrupted sexual activity, even though the reality is highly fragmented. Medical support further reinforces performance. Oral medications like sildenafil and tadalafil enhance the body's ability to maintain an erection, but they cannot initiate it. These drugs inhibit PDE5, an enzyme responsible for breaking down nitric oxide, allowing the erection to persist longer once it has begun. Their effect is entirely dependent on the brain signaling arousal and releasing nitric oxide. In high-pressure filming conditions, where stress can block that initial signal, oral medications may be insufficient to guarantee performance. Intracavernosal injections provide a more reliable solution. These injections deliver a combination of vasodilating drugs directly into the corpora cavernosa. Unlike oral medications, injections do not require psychological or physical arousal. They chemically force the smooth muscles to relax and arteries to open, producing a rigid erection within minutes that can last for 1 to 2 hours. Common combinations include bimix, which contains papaverine and phentolamine, and trimix, which adds alprostadil for enhanced potency. Papaverine relaxes blood vessels. Phentolamine blocks adrenaline receptors, and alprostadil acts as a powerful vasodilator, amplifying the effect. While highly effective, these injections carry risks. Prolonged erections, or priapism, can cause permanent tissue damage if not treated promptly. Repeated injections can lead to penile fibrosis, the formation of scar tissue within the corpora cavernosa, reducing length, creating curvature and impairing the ability to achieve natural erections. Performers often carry an antidote, phenylephrine, to reverse dangerous cases immediately. In extreme cases, when repeated injections result in irreversible fibrosis, penile implants provide a final solution. Semi-rigid rods offer constant firmness, while three-piece inflatable implants closely mimic natural erections. The inflatable design uses a pump in the scrotum to transfer fluid from a reservoir into cylinders within the penis, producing an erection on demand and allowing full deflation afterward. These surgical options are effective, reliable, and used as last resort interventions when other methods fail. The stamina portrayed on screen is not the result of superior genetics or unshakable confidence. It is a product of editing, pharmacology, and, in some cases, surgical intervention. Comparing one's own sexual experience to this highly engineered performance can create unnecessary anxiety. In reality, natural sexual function varies according to stress, fatigue, mood, and other factors. Adult performers benefit from tools and interventions that bypass these natural limitations, giving the appearance of unending sexual endurance. Understanding the reality behind adult film performance helps separate fantasy from expectation. The illusion is carefully constructed, designed for viewers' perception rather than reflecting natural human capability. Recognizing this allows individuals to focus on a healthy, realistic sexual life without pressure to match the impossible standards presented on screen. Once the cameras start rolling, the performance becomes both a psychological and physiological challenge. No matter how experienced the performer is, the pressures of a film set are unlike any personal encounter. A single glance from the director, a camera moving slightly closer, or the knowledge that every moment is being captured and scrutinized can trigger a cascade of stress responses. The body is wired to respond with adrenaline, preparing for fight or flight, and yet the performer must somehow maintain an erection and deliver a performance that looks effortless. This paradox is at the heart of adult film production. The more an actor tries to focus on natural arousal, the more his body fights back. Blood flow is redirected away from the penis, muscles contract, and the very system designed to create an erection is suppressed by the body's survival instincts. To overcome this, the industry relies on strategically engineered interventions that ensure a predictable outcome regardless of mental state. Cinematic technique continues to play a major role. Editors are masters of timing, cutting together multiple angles, short bursts of activity, and even pauses that the viewer never sees. What looks like one continuous scene is often a patchwork of carefully orchestrated shots, sometimes filmed over the course of an entire day. Actors take breaks, reset, and prepare for the next shot while editors piece together the final illusion. The visual continuity is seamless. The pauses, rest periods, and moments of difficulty are completely invisible to the audience. Yet even with editing magic, medical support is indispensable. Oral medications like sildenafil and tadalafil serve as foundational support, enhancing the erection once it is initiated by the brain. But the real guarantee comes from intracavernosal injections, a method that bypasses the mind entirely. A small needle delivers a potent cocktail of vasodilating drugs directly into the corpora cavernosa, forcing the smooth muscles to relax and arteries to open. Within minutes, a rigid erection forms, lasting long enough to sustain multiple takes or extended scenes. The combinations vary. Bimix, a blend of papaverine and phentolamine, provides reliable support for most actors. Trimix, which adds alprostadel, offers even greater potency for high-stakes scenes. Papaverine acts as a nonspecific vasodilator, dramatically increasing blood flow. Phentolamine blocks adrenaline receptors, preventing the body's stress response from interfering. Alprostadel amplifies the effect, producing a potent erection even in the absence of psychological arousal. The effectiveness of these injections is undeniable, but they come with significant risks. Priapism, an erection lasting more than 4 hours, is a medical emergency. Without immediate treatment, oxygen-deprived blood can damage erectile tissue permanently. Frequent injections also increase the risk of penile fibrosis, scarring that reduces elasticity and can create painful curvature. Even highly experienced performers must carefully manage dosage, technique, and timing to minimize these risks. Beyond injections, the ultimate medical intervention comes in the form of penile implants. Semi-rigid rods provide constant firmness, allowing an actor to perform without reliance on injections or pills. Three-piece inflatable implants, however, are the pinnacle of engineering, mimicking natural erections with a discrete pump mechanism located in the scrotum. Fluid is transferred from a hidden reservoir into cylinders within the penis, inflating them to produce a natural-feeling erection on demand. Once the scene is complete, the fluid is returned to the reservoir, allowing full deflation and concealment. These methods reveal the true reality behind adult film performance. The seeming superhuman stamina is not a product of genetics, training, or sheer willpower. It is a carefully constructed illusion supported by medical science and cinematic artifice. Performers are equipped with tools that allow them to bypass natural physiological limitations, ensuring the audience witnesses a flawless performance every time. Understanding these realities is critical for viewers. It reframes expectations, emphasizing that the on-screen fantasy is not a reflection of natural sexual function. Real sexual experiences vary based on mood, fatigue, stress, and emotional connection. What adult films depict is an engineered reality, designed to entertain, not educate. Recognizing the distinction allows individuals to focus on their own sexual health and enjoyment without undue pressure to match impossible standards. As an adult film scene progresses, the pressures do not lessen. If anything, they intensify. Performers must sustain not only a physical erection, but also an appearance of natural passion and energy. Every expression, every gesture, every movement is under scrutiny, not just by the director, but by the lenses of multiple cameras capturing every angle. The audience will see only the final polished scene, but the reality behind the camera is far from seamless. Even with oral medications and injections, the performance requires careful management of timing, positioning, and technique. Actors rely on repeated coordination, short bursts of activity, and strategic pauses to preserve stamina over long filming sessions. Editors and directors work together to conceal the fragmented nature of the production, turning what is essentially a series of carefully managed moments into the illusion of continuous, effortless sexual activity. Despite these interventions, the risks of medical techniques cannot be ignored. Repeated injections, while effective, can lead to long-term consequences, such as penile fibrosis, scar tissue buildup, and curvature. Priapism, though rare, is a serious emergency. Advanced performers must be vigilant, carrying counteracting drugs and being ready for immediate medical intervention if complications arise. The stakes are high, and the combination of stress, medication, and physical demand makes adult film performance a delicate balancing act. For those whose careers span decades, surgical interventions such as penile implants sometimes become necessary. Semi-rigid rods and three-piece inflatable devices provide the ultimate reliability, allowing the performer to achieve and control an erection without relying on injections, pills, or psychological arousal. Inflatable implants replicate a natural erection almost perfectly, giving the user control while maintaining discretion. This level of intervention represents the final stage of medical support in the industry, used when all other methods have limitations or fail. The reality behind adult film performance is a far cry from what viewers see on screen. Superhuman stamina is not a natural ability. It is a product of editing, pharmaceutical support, and, in some cases, surgical intervention. Performers are equipped with tools that allow them to bypass normal physiological limits, presenting an illusion of effortless sexual performance. The visual continuity and intensity are meticulously manufactured to meet the expectations of the audience, creating a fantasy that is almost entirely engineered. Understanding the mechanisms behind these performances can be liberating. It reveals that natural sexual function is inherently variable. Fluctuations in erection, desire, and stamina are normal responses to stress, fatigue, mood, and physical condition. Comparing oneself to the perfectly curated, medically enhanced performances on screen is unrealistic and unnecessary. Real sexual life involves emotional connection, physical comfort, and responsiveness to natural cues, all of which are often absent from a film set where performance is mechanical and engineered.